Welcome to the Merch Minds podcast, where we discuss everything about the Merch by Amazon business in the print-on-demand industry. Here are your hosts, Glen and Yong.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Merch Minds podcast, episode number 2 with my main man, Yong.
What's going on, guys? Episode 2, 1 plus 1.
And we're talking about Merch by Amazon. We're talking about our own personal accounts, businesses, what we're doing with selling shirts, strategies, tiers. What are the topics we want to talk about today, Yong?
Today we're going to talk about how to come up with ideas and how to come up with concepts because in my own personal opinion, I think those strategies are completely different depending on what tier you're at.
Yeah, we wanted to talk about what should you be doing when you have 25 t-shirts, or when you're at 25, your first tier. What should you be doing when you have 100? And what should you be doing when you're at 500? What can you do when you're beyond that? So we want to talk about that, but first we're going to talk about our own personal accounts, what we've been doing, what's been going on for the week, I should say. And any similar, trends or things that have been going on. I guess I could tell you right now that I had one of the best days this last week, and then I had one of the worst days this last week.
I remember that. I remember you and I were having a private conversation the other day, and you were like, man, I don't know what's going on today, but this is by far the worst day I've ever had.
Yeah, in a good while, too.
Yeah, so tell us about it, man.
So I was, we have, Joe Clay, he started a merch group for Only the Green Rumors. And he had asked me a question, like, how many shirts have you sold today? And I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't looked it up for a good while. Let me see where I'm at. And that particular day that he asked me, I was like on fire that day. I was like 20 something shirts at the time he asked. And it was still kind of early in the day.
Yeah.
So, I was like, you know what? I'm actually doing good today. And I told him and everything. I was like, okay, cool. So I finished that day with 40 something sales. I averaged 25 to 30 a day. So to get over 40, it was a really, really good day. And then the next day, it was kind of another average day. The day after that, though, I was at 5 sales, and it was going into the afternoon, and by that time, I already know it's going to be a low selling day.
Now, I was that the day you and I spoke on the phone?
Yeah, it was. You know what? That was on Friday.
Was that Friday? Yeah,
that was Friday.
Because I remember you and I spoke on the phone, and I asked you about your business, and you were like, "Man, today's just been really bad," and I was just like, "Oh man, that sucks."
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising because I mean, you're one of the original, the OGs of merch, who's been just crushing it. So, but you know what? I mean, in every business, you have those days, right? Whether you're reselling, if you're on eBay, Amazon, we all have those days. So
exactly.
It's not uncommon for those, for those days to pop in every now and then. So.
And I can tell everybody, though, that I've seen that Monday seems to be a good day for my sales. Monday, I've seen high volume sales, but Saturday, I think it's the lowest out of the whole week. So when the Friday came around, this particular Friday, I finished the day with 9 sales. And that was the lowest, I think, in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months. To have 9 sales. So wow. It was a great day followed by a very low selling day.
Wow. Now, why do you think that is? You think it's because there's just more competition?
I do think competition does play a role in this, but in that particular day, I don't know what happened. I was kind of thinking when you're just kind of sitting there wondering what's going on, I started playing all these different scenarios in my head. And I was Fridays, what's going on? What could be going on right now? The only thing I could think of in my head was high school football, if that makes any sense. But let me tell you why. Because also during that day, I had the highest sales, which doesn't tell you much because I only had 9, but 5 of those sales had something to do with football.
Okay, yeah. I mean, well, football season did start this past weekend,
Yeah.
and you just happen to live in Texas, which football is just part of religion over there.
Yeah, high school football is in your blood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So interesting.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but that's the only thing I could kind of think of. Nothing else like nationally or that could really make sense to me of why they would have low sales with high football sales of the day. So I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
So what happened with you? Yeah, let me know. Let me know with Yong. What's going on?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, obviously, I'm not at the tier that you're at. So I just recently got upgraded to the 500 tier. So I've been
Look at this guy.
yeah, man. I mean, and you and I speak on a regular basis these days. As soon as I got tiered to 500, I've been designing shirts like a madman. So previously, I would I would design maybe 3 shirts per day. But now that I'm at 500, I've been doing like 10 plus shirts per day.
Wow, 10 shirts a day.
Yeah, or more. And I'm currently at 430 shirts. So I have 70 more to design before I reach my maximum. And I've been doing pretty good. There's one shirt, man, I don't know why. Well, actually, no, I do know why. That's been selling anywhere between 3 to 5 per day. I mean,
nice.
It's selling like every day. And
nice.
It's not the best design, but it has a really good, a strong message. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's been selling a lot. Obviously, I can't disclose what that shirt is.
Oh, of course not.
But yeah, so it's so I've been selling in the past week. I've been averaging anywhere between 3 to 5 shirts per day.
Okay.
Again, it's nothing compared to what you're selling, but for someone who's at the 500 mark, that's really not bad. So I'm looking forward to really scaling, my merch by Amazon business. I think I'm probably gonna go back and delete some of the older ones now that I have some little room. Now that I have some room to play with.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm going to keep everything. But there's a few shirts that I'm just not happy with.
Okay. And you know what? I do have to give you a small golf clap.
Yay!
Because you have been cranking out these designs. You're over 400 something now.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time we talked, I don't remember you being anywhere near 400 something out of the 500. I mean, that's, like you said, 10 plus designs a day.
Yeah.
I mean, you're cranking these bad boys out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it must have been about 3 weeks ago when I was at 100. So in the last 3 weeks, I've been cranking out designs, and these are designs that I'm doing on my own. I'm not hiring anyone. And again, for those of you guys who don't know our background, Glen and I, we both graduated from college with a graphic design degree. So these are designs that I'm personally doing. I'm at 430 currently. So
nice. So you definitely want to, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is like coming up with ideas for the whatever you're in. So in your case, you have about 70 or 60 something left to play with. Yeah.
So I have about 70 to play with. But then once I filled that up, like I said, I think I'm going to go back and delete about a dozen T-shirts that I've designed about a month or 2 ago, only because, number one, they haven't been selling. And number two, now I look at them, I was like, what the heck was I thinking when I designed it? Because they're bad. They're really bad. I am going to go back and delete those.
It happens to the best of us.
Of course.
So we, of course. So, all right. So let's talk about, you know, when you're starting out, you have 25 shirts. We want to talk about how to come up with ideas for these 25 shirts and how they change once you do tier up to 100 and 500 and so on. You know, how do these ideas change and your strategy behind getting more sales so that you can tier up? Let's start off with, of course, the 25.
Yeah.
So, okay.
You want me to take it, or you want to?
Yeah, let's start off with you. I want to see what you're, because, like, I mean, you've already moved up pretty quickly, I would say, because now you're at the 500, and once you sell those, and you're already looking to go further than that. So, but like you said, you cranked out over like 300 something shirts in the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So 25 was probably what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, something like that. About
Okay.
a month and a half, 2 months ago, and let me tell you, the first 25 mark is just, you know, it's a pain in the, you know what, it's really hard, right? Because
yeah,
you know, you're trying to have that one shirt or maybe two, or, you know, even better yet, all 25 shirts to sell. But you know, 99%, you know, chances are not everything's going to sell. So how do you come up with the ideas or the concept for your shirts to sell? And, you know, from my own personal experience, and, you know, my experience might be different from yours, Glenn, because obviously you got on board a lot earlier or I did, and there weren't that many restrictions. And then when I got on board, there was a lot of restrictions. So, you know, I had to really, really be clever with how I came up with concepts. So from my personal experience, I think the best way to come up with ideas when you're at the 25 mark is just only designs shirts on current events and things that are trending on social media. And the reason being is because your primary goal is to get tiered to the next level. You want to get those sales fast, right? You want to get those 25 sales quick. And if you don't do that, I mean, let's say, and this is a conversation that I believe you and I had already, but I mean, for instance, if you're really passionate about yoga and you want to sell shirts about yoga, that's fine. But 9 times out of 10, you know, they're going to be long tail. They're not going to sell very quickly. So you want to sell something that's currently trending. And then once you get those sales and then you get upgraded to the next tier and you have room to play with, then you can make a few of those yoga shirts that we just discussed. Now, would you agree with that, with what I just said?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything that you said, and I would include to just like have a different. Not only are you doing trending things, but you're also mixing it up. You're also just doing different like niches and trending things from different areas. You're not just focusing on like politics. You know, you're not just focusing, yeah, it's trending, but I would try to mix it up and not just have all 25 based on politics or all 25 based on, you know, something else that's trending at the moment. I would definitely mix it up. And just like what Yong said, then yeah, you have more to play with once you get to the 100. But what do you think about pricing? Like, would you price it $14.99, $15.99, a little lower than others to try to get more sales, to try to move up quicker?
You know, all my shirts are priced at $19.99. All my shirts. I guess that would be a good strategy. I mean, it just really depends on how confident you think those designs are. I mean, how confident are you in them? I mean, if they're just, you know, random generic designs that you came up with, yeah, maybe you might want to go with a lower price. But if you're really confident, you know, you have faith in your design, whether it was done by you or someone else, price it high.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think I do agree too, depending on the shirt, because if you come up with something really, really simple that is maybe a little too plain, maybe the design is okay. It's not the greatest design in the world, and you're starting to, I don't know, you're already charging $19.99, $21.99, and you're doing the opposite. Like, you do want to tier up, but at the same time, you still want to make good amount of money. I would probably focus on the money stuff a little bit later. I mean, Yong has them at $19.99 and every single shirt, but then again, he's also at the 500 mark. But when you're starting out, I think I did start off mine at around $16.95 range. I didn't start off at $19.99 right off the bat. But then again, during that time, there wasn't a whole lot of competition as there is now. So when I did start, it was late December, and I did do what you said, Young. I did do trending topics first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did tier up, ended up being like late January, maybe early February, that it really moved up again. It's hard for me to remember every single detail, but I do know that I did do the trending topics first. And I think that's very important when you're doing the first 25, because you are going to be a little picky when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you want to tier up, but you also understand that you're not going to tier up right away. I get a lot of emails from people that are like, hey, I sold 25. Can I tier up now? When do I tier up? When do I get to sell 100 now? And the truth is, I really don't know what Amazon's, I don't know what they're kind of going for when you already sell 25 or 30 shirts. I don't know if they're like waiting for a certain period to where like maybe they tier up everybody at the same time, whatever their level is, or if they are individually looking at your account or something. Have you heard anything about that?
Well, no, I mean, I've heard people being tiered to the 500 mark, even though they haven't even sold 100 shirts. So I don't know. So I don't know if a real human is actually going in there and tearing people up, or if it's computer generated. But yeah, I've heard of people, who's only sold 60 shirts, and then they're saying, "Oh man, I logged in and I just got tiered up to the 500 mark." So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But as far as pricing, you and I both come from the FBA world. And one thing that really pisses me off, right, is when we have a product and then someone else comes in with the same product and then they undercut you by a lot, right?
Yeah.
And, in merch, there's going to be a lot of the same shirts, but, there might be variations of it. And people come in and, they'll undercut you, and that's fine. Hey, if you want to make the sale, that's fine. But, I think you and I are pretty confident in our designs that regardless of what we price them at, I think you and I can sell them at some point. But, if you're just purposely just coming in and underpricing everyone and your design sucks, I'll tell you what, it might work temporarily, but for the long term, your business is not going to work that way. And
I don't know if I agree with everything 100%. Let me tell you why. Because I don't have anything against anybody that wants to, I guess, undercut me in a different niche or something. Because I'm just trying to crank out as many shirts as possible to where like I'm really not paying attention to whoever else is out there. But if you're gonna copy me pixel by pixel and then undercut me, then yeah, I have a huge problem with that. Yeah. And a lot of people have been doing that. Of course, these people have been getting kicked off or shirts taken off, which eventually will lead to their suspension and things like that. But of course, I mean, that's definitely going to get you angry when you see something like that. Has that happened to you? Any of your shirts? Or have you noticed, or have you done any research on any of them?
I do know a few of them have been, copied pixel to pixel. I mean, even down to the description, word for word, they were just copied. And just it bothers me, but at the same time, I could report them, I guess, but I just continue to just put my time where it's more valuable, which is designing more shirts.
Yeah, and I think it's totally different, like kind of like what you said though with FBA, because if someone comes in and undercuts you and it's the same item, let's say it's some video game, clearance video game that they got at Target to be exact, and and they undercut you by $10, then you can hang in there and see what happens down the road. Maybe you'll wait a couple of months, see if the price rises back up. Maybe you'll get rid of it just because you want to break even. That's up to you. But in this case, you designed that T-shirt. There's pride and some love in there, because that's all you. And then if someone comes in, takes it away, pixel by pixel, undercuts you, and then you find out that they're making money on that, then that's
especially if it's a bestseller, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
which are only ones that they're copying. I hardly see anybody copying shirts that don't sell.
Well,
pixel by pixel.
It's just common sense, right? Oh man, this shirt has no ranking or has a really high rank. Okay, I'm not going to copy that. Yeah.
Until it starts making sales.
Yeah. So, so I, like I said, I'm really confident in my designs. So, and I'm in it for the long-term haul. So, I'm just going to keep putting out really good quality designs.
Yeah. And I had a question that actually came in through my emails. They were asking me, okay, I'm at 25. Can I sell 25 of one shirt and tear up? Like if let's say they have 5 different designs, only one of them sells 25. But the reason why it sells 25 is because maybe they went to a local restaurant, maybe a business, maybe a church, and they got them to buy 25 all at once. Do you think you can tear up by doing that?
To 100?
Yeah, like you tear up from 25 after that.
Of course. Here's the thing about that, with that scenario though, and again, this is just my own personal opinion. So if you design a shirt and you go out and you have your friends, buy 25 shirts, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you can get away with doing it, by all means, get away with it. But the thing is, maybe they're buying it as a favor, because you're a friend or a family member. Me personally, I want to design shirts that I know other people want to buy because they want it, not because they want to do me a favor.
Yeah, but this is just a tear up though. Like you want to tear up to 100.
Yeah, again, but absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But again, if I design a shirt, and I get 25 friends to buy that shirt, there's nothing wrong with it. You'll get teared up. But if it's a horrible design, 99%, after your 25 friends buy that shirt, chances are no one's ever going to buy it again. That's why I keep saying, try and come up with a good design, regardless of what the concept is or what the idea is. Make it reasonable. I mean, it doesn't have to be, some professional, design that you hired $10,000 for. Just as long as it's clean, the color scheme's right, the spacing is even. If you can do that, I mean, and you're satisfied with it, then great.
Yeah. Wow, a designer for 10 grand. I am available for 10 grand in case anybody is wondering. hustlerhacks1 at gmail.com.
Actually, I do have a story for you after the show.
Oh, okay. That's what I like to hear. All right. So let's say you've tiered up to 25. You're okay. You're over 25. Now you're at 100.
Now you're at 100. Yeah.
What's your strategy now?
Okay. Now again, just my own personal experience. My strategy would be, now you can start focusing on shirts that you want to make. Again, we used the whole yoga scenario earlier. So if you're if you love doing yoga and you're very passionate about doing yoga, now that you're at the 100 mark, make about 3, 4, 5 shirts on yoga and see if they sell, right? But again, just focus focus on current events, on trending topics. Don't forget about those, and diversify, your niche and your category. Get into the, not just yoga. Get into I don't know, politics. Get into sports. Get into what else? Automobiles. Who knows? Just start branching out into various categories. I mean, I have shirts now, Glenn, in all kinds of different niches, man. Everything from sports to yoga to football, basketball. I think I even have one in swimming. That was during the Olympics, but obviously, I haven't sold any yet since. But yeah, start branching out into various categories.
And one thing I would say that you shouldn't do is to create 99. Well, actually, you're already at 25, so you can't do 99. Like 70 different shirts that have like the same overall design, but you're changing out like one word. And Yong knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like these are the shirts that you see on there that say like, what would be a good example of these? Like where they plug in different names.
Well, yeah. Well, no. I guess a good example would be like those Keep Calm, and Chivon, right? People change out like the last two words or something, right? Like keep calm and go to school. Keep calm and design shirts. Keep calm and work on
take a dump.
Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Well, even though those actually might be more of a variety because you can actually do different niches kind of based on that shirt. I was thinking, I guess, a little bit more of like those shirts that say like, I don't know, it's a Glen thing you wouldn't understand. It's a Yong thing you wouldn't understand. It's a Rakin thing you wouldn't understand. And you just take out every single name and you just put in a new name. That just seems like a waste of 70 different shirts that you can
I totally get what you're saying. No, you're completely wasting your valuable space as far as shirts.
Yeah, and I've seen quite a bit of them. It's kind of crazy too. I mean, they have no rank, and they I don't know. It's like I see a lot of them too, to where like even the colors don't even look good on certain other T-shirts because they've done them so fast and they've cranked these out so quickly that they just don't even look good either. And that's something I wouldn't recommend doing.
Yeah.
Even though you still have a lot to play with at 100, I would still take it seriously and like, hey, what can I do right now to get some more sales? To kind of find myself, like what's my identity right now on merch, on what I want to do to, what kind of brands do you want to maybe have, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different brands? Do you want to focus on certain niches to maybe you have 5 to 10 different shirts like Yong said? You can do that too, but you're still kind of finding yourself. But when you think about it, 100 is quite a bit. Like you have a lot to do with 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, just start really exploring various topics. Again, don't make shirts that you think is cool. Make sure that the shirts that you design are shirts that other people think is cool.
Yeah, something they're into. You don't really want to just focus on, because tell you the truth, you might think something's real funny, and it's not. It's lame. And you're like, oh man, that's awesome. But it's not. I mean, you want to focus on what are people going to want to buy? That's what you really want to focus on.
Mm-hmm. And ask yourself that question. Like, if you see a design, would I buy that shirt? If you want to
exactly.
If you want to buy it, well then don't go into that niche or category.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with pricing too. I mean, everybody's all over the place when it comes to pricing. I've seen people go as high as like $24.99. Some are as low as $14.99, which you're not going to be making anything, so I wouldn't be doing that when you're at 100 range. But I think about that a lot too. 18, 19, $20. I would pay that much for a good-looking shirt that I feel confident in.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good.
Yeah. I don't ever go over $20. All my shirts, 100% of them, are priced at $19.99. And I've thought about maybe lowering some of the prices. But to be honest with you, I'm just lazy because that means I have to go into my inventory and find that particular shirt and then lower the price. And so that's one of my complaints about merch, is that I wish they had an easier way to lower some of the prices of the shirts.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that you can actually type in like a keyword to narrow it down, which does help, because before they didn't even have that little search bar. You'd have to physically go through every single one of your shirts to find that certain one that you wanted to make changes on. So that does help, but at the same time, it is going to have to go through the review process all over again, and it's going to have to go through all that. It could take a couple of days, to really try to come back with that new pricing and the new updated listing and stuff. So.
Yeah, actually, you and I discussed this a couple of days ago too. And when you do something like that, when you resubmit a shirt, when it was originally submitted, it might have gone through the whole process and it got approved. But now that they're physically reviewing the shirts, it might not get approved the second time. So be careful.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally different than what it was even like 6 months ago. Yeah, it's evolving, but in a good way. 500 plus now. So now you're one of the you're at Yong level right now. You're one of the big timers. You have 500 to play around with. Now, how has your strategy changed?
Oh man, you know what? I'm not even focusing on social media, on trending topics, or any of that. Maybe every now and then I might go on CNN and Yahoo and whatnot, but now I'm just trying to fill up those slots as fast as possible, right? I'm going into every niche and category that I can think of and just trying to be creative and playing with words. What kind of catchphrase can I come up with? I'm just being really creative and just trying to come up with all kinds of topics, man. I mean, even categories that I have no idea what to even design about. I might just look at some shirts, and if I think it's cool, I'll jump into that category and maybe design something that's very similar to what I saw.
So now you're going like super deep into niches. Is that what you're saying? You're totally at every single thing.
No, I mean I've designed shirts again from yoga to dogs, cats. I don't even like cats. It's not that I don't like cats. I'm just highly allergic.
Oh, okay. That's a totally different thing.
I've designed a bunch of shirts.
So now you're going. These are like the deeper cuts now. Now you're going into like table tennis. I'm just kidding. Your sports thing changed. Now you're going deeper and deeper. When coming up with ideas, I think from like this 500 range, not only am I like doing a lot of research on, let's just go like I don't know, platform by platform or website by website or something, but like Pinterest to me is always my number one when it comes to like comparing ideas from Pinterest, Instagram. I mean, Amazon, I really don't like looking at a lot of other shirts because I just don't want to be thrown in with a bunch of other people that have already done the same kind of like idea, I guess.
Well, so I actually do look on Amazon. So I do both, right? Like I'll look at websites and then I'll look at Amazon. And the reason I look on Amazon is because, for instance, if I wanted to do a shirt on Black Lives Matter, I'll look on Amazon and I'll see how saturated that market is. And you and I know on Amazon, that particular shirt, Black Lives Matter, is just saturated. There's like over 500 shirts. I wouldn't even, I would not go into that category. I would not, whether my design is just spectacular compared to others, I just don't want to touch it. Because it's just, my design's going to get lost in those other 500 shirts.
Yeah, and I agree too. I mean, you don't want to be just where everybody else is at too, and the exact same type of shirts too. And I think you can go deeper into the niches, because at least what I'm hearing too, also from Yong, saying it's like going through these different shirts on Amazon, you want to see what people haven't touched yet.
Exactly.
And not only that, you want to be creative on these t-shirts so that you're one of the first ones, kind of, with awesome designs in a certain niche.
So like I said, I'll if I find a shirt that I think has potential, I'll look it up on Amazon, and if there's like 5 or 6 other similar shirts, then I'll consider creating a shirt just like, well, not just like it. You know what I meant. I'm not a copycat. Another reason why I don't like cats.
And Pinterest, Pinterest I really, really like a lot, because I just think there's so many people that are, I don't know, a lot of things I haven't really thought of. I think Instagram is a little bit tougher, I think, when you're doing your research. But what I like about both of them, though, is that when you have your phone, if you're waiting in line at the DMV, your phone's right there, start researching. If you're, even if you're like on the elliptical at the gym, your phone's right in front of you. You can start researching, spending quality 30, 40 minutes, not in traffic though. I don't want you bringing out your phone when you're in traffic. But any other way that you feel like you're kind of wasting time, I would start researching every little thing that you can, taking some little screenshots with your phone. You have those to, look at later on, so that you're not wondering, what can I think of? What kind of ideas are out there? I can't think of anything right now. My brain hurts. Totally different thing. You already have these ideas already pretty much at your fingertips.
Now, Glenn, just out of curiosity, though, I mean, I know we do a lot of, and you and I both do a lot of research on the internet. But do you ever come up with like your own concept, like something that you came up with?
Yeah, I have come up with my own things, and it's kind of funny when it comes to that stuff too, because you're like, I wonder if anybody else thinks this is funny or not. But only way to find out is to give it a shot. But when you're at the 500 range, you have some room to play with.
Yeah. Well, the reason being is because I remember, and this is when I was at the 25 mark. I had designed a shirt. It was a political shirt, and I showed it to one of my colleagues, who's a very political person, and he understood it, but he was like, "Well, what does it mean?" And I don't want to disclose what it is, but he was just like, "What does it mean?" He goes, "It doesn't make any sense." I'm like, "Watch, man." I'm like, "This shirt's gonna sell." And I'm telling you, man, and I believe I showed that design to you when you and I were talking in Austin. Yeah, that shirt just blew up, and it was it was a concept that I came up with. I haven't seen another shirt like it out there.
You witty little man, coming up with these, these awesome ideas.
So I was just kind of curious, like if you come up with your own concepts as well.
And I have come up with a couple of them that I felt good about, but they haven't really sold too well. Maybe like once, like a couple of them here and there.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's to show how many, I guess, my ideas. I guess to me, like, I'm just better at the design part, to where I can come up with my own creativity, ideas. Okay, as far as coming up with like other, I don't know, catchphrases or anything, or taglines, like "Go out and get it."
Yeah,
I'm okay too. It has to be the design part that I'm a lot better at. I can tell you that much right now.
Okay, yeah, I have to admit that's one area where I'm pretty creative. I come up with some creative concepts, and they're all original ideas. So I guess that's one area where I beat you. Ha!
Oh, there we go. Can you share a couple of these ideas with us? Just kidding.
No.
Okay, fine. I see how it is. All right, so 500. You know what? Also, I wanted to talk about with coming up with ideas. If you are in FBA and eBay, things like that, and you're out there sourcing, like, there's so much opportunity out there as well. Like Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, these places, they have kind of like these like, I don't know, like unknown little brands that also have their own shirts, and they sell them for kind of cheap too, actually cheaper than most of these merch prices. I saw like a tank top, I think, at TJ Maxx. I think it was like $9.99 or something like that, and it had like a clever saying, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, and to me, of course, in my head, I'm thinking, how can I make this design better? How can I make this just overall a better shirt? And I looked it up, not trademarked. I tried to look up anything about it. I mean, it was just, they kind of have these things not only on tank tops, t-shirts, pajamas, mugs, little folder, I don't know, binder things that Jameson looks at to get inspiration. These type, if you saw that in the green room, he bought some type of like little folder journal type thing that has inspirational sayings on them. So things like this, you can find these in stores while you're out there sourcing. And hey, you're sourcing for FBA and eBay, you might as well look for ideas and stuff for merch while you're out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more than that, though, right? I mean, I see billboards and I mean, signs and just if my friend says something hilarious, I'll look it up and oh man, that was funny. I wonder if there's a shirt, with that slogan or caption, and it isn't, I'll make one. But yeah, I mean, there's ideas all over the place. You just have to think, be creative, and just if you think it'll work, design something or have someone design it for you, and give it a few weeks and see if it sells.
Exactly, and this has happened to me. I design shirts for people. People contact me quite a bit on designing shirts. There has been quite a bit of people that have asked, well, they just told me this. You know what, Glenn? I can't think of any ideas. That's it. Nothing else. What would you say to those people? What are they doing wrong? I would say they're not doing anything at all, because there's millions of ideas out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just looking around the house. I mean, I don't know, just dog food over here. I mean, maybe I can make a funny shirt about dog food. I don't know. Here's a tape measure or something. Maybe I can, maybe I can make a funny shirt about tape measure. What's funny, Glenn, was I just picked up this tape measure and try to show you, even though this is a damn podcast. That makes no sense.
And the funny thing about tape measure, though, is you start thinking about, okay, what's related to tape measure? What can we think of?
FBA, right? I mean, we need a tape measure for FBA. What else? Carpenters. Yeah, I mean,
exactly. Tools. People that would work for that would need tape measures. What are they doing? What and one thing relates to one another. Next thing you know, you have a bunch of different ideas based off of that one idea.
Yeah, you just have to brainstorm, right? Play with words. Again, we gave you the whole tape measure scenario. How about books? Well, books. What are books related to? Library, reading,
nerds,
stories. I don't know, coffee store. Yeah. I mean, you just have to play with words and just get creative. There's ideas out there, and if you can't come up with an idea, well, then clearly you're doing something wrong. Because I can come up with ideas, hundreds of them per day.
And I think all of these things are very important when coming up with ideas for the 500 plus rating. Well, 500 range, I should say, because you do have plenty to play around with. You want to come up with creative ideas, and you really want to see also what works and how you're going to do it from there. But one thing that you said, though, was that you want to do it as quickly as possible. And I do agree with that, because competition is rising. Everybody around you that is in merch is also looking to tier up. And if you're going to sit around and wait around like, well, can't really think of any ideas today. I'll sleep on it and see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah,
And someone is already tearing up the very next day.
I tell you what, Glenn, and again, you and I both, again, come from the FBA world and, the whole reselling world. I've pretty much put that on the back burner. I've been primarily, and you know me, man, I'm a huge FBA guy.
Oh, yeah.
Been doing it for years, but I pretty much put that on the back burner, and I've just been focusing on designing shirts. Now, I didn't quit doing FBA. I'm still out there sourcing, but it's not as much. Most of my time is now just really, really focusing on designing shirts.
And I think a lot of that has to do with also because we don't know all the full potential this thing has yet, because this is only t-shirts. And what we're going to talk about in the future, though, is talking about the survey that was given out, talking about what are some other things that they could be doing with merch. This is going to be for a totally different episode, but I could tell you right now, they're thinking way beyond what I have already thought that they were going to think about. Right. And it's past t-shirts. So when this happens, which it will, how many designs are you going to have up and running? And I think it's going to play a huge difference, huge amount of money, huge potential once they get this going past t-shirts.
Yeah, no, and for those of you guys that don't know what we're talking about, Amazon sent out a survey about 2 weeks ago, just basically asking them what they could do as far as improve. They asked for some options as to what we would like to see as far as apparel, whether they're tank tops, hoodies, sweatshirts, and tote bags, things like that. So if you didn't get one and you're doing merch, maybe look in your spam folder and take the survey, because it really is important that we let them know what we want.
Yeah, exactly. And it was pretty cool to see everything that they've thought of and everything that they're looking into as far as like improving the platform. And, I say this almost every single merch video that I do. And that's how young this platform is. And it's nowhere near the 8-year point of FBA. We're only in 8 or 9 months that this thing has been up and running. And a lot of money has been made by a lot of people that are selling right now on merch.
Exactly. And, you talk about money, I'm not making the Glen Zubia type of money at the moment, but, I am making enough to, and, we discussed this as well. I mean, I can pretty much make a card payment with what I'm currently making on merch. And, to me, that is a lot of money. I mean, think about that, a car payment.
Student loan, groceries, gas.
Yeah, at this point right now, I don't have to design any more shirts, and I can have a car payment for the rest of my life. So that just tells you how powerful this platform is.
Yep, and ask Yong what kind of replenishments he's doing on merch.
What do you mean?
How much replenishments you're doing on merch? 0, because FBA you have to keep sourcing and you keep putting in items over and over again. You're sticking labels on them. You're getting your inventory fees.
Exactly.
What's your fees like per month that you're paying on merch?
There is no fees. I mean, I get a royalty, but
exactly. No fees and no replenishments and no sourcing.
So yeah,
think about that for a little while.
Yeah, it's a very powerful platform. Again, if you're not on it and you're thinking about it, just get on it. Again, if you're not comfortable with doing your own designs, there's other designers out there that you can hire. There's Glen. I am not available for hire because I just don't have the patience like Glen does. I've thought about it. I've thought about offering my services, but we'll see. But at the moment, just contact Glen or other designers out there on the internet.
Yeah, and there's good designers out there. You might even want to contact maybe even your local college and see university or something. If you do have a dedicated college student that's learning graphic design, maybe not really advanced, but maybe has been doing it for maybe a year or something, and they can make some extra money while they're in college. You can pay them a decent amount, and you know, they're cranking out designs for you, then I'm all for that, because I remember those college days and trying to do graphic design, and it's very, very difficult. Hell, there's even people that have gotten degrees and they can't even get a shot. So if there's someone that could build up their portfolio and they're in the university right now, give them some work.
Absolutely. No, that's a good resource. I actually do know a couple people who are students, and I've been trying to get them to design shirts. So yeah, that's a great resource, Glenn. Glad you brought that up.
Thank you, sir. You're so kind.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for episode 2, unless you have anything else.
I think it's a good, solid show for episode 2. We talked about the different tiers. We talked about coming up with ideas, and we talked about, of course, just our own personal thing that's been going on this week. And you know, I'm pretty pumped for the next couple of episodes because we have a lot to cover.
Yeah, and guys, you know, we mentioned this in episode 1. You know, this is our first venture into doing podcasts. If there's anything that we can improve on, let us know. You know, if you have a good feedback, let us know. If you have something negative, let us know. I mean, the only way we can make this show better is from hearing from you guys. We are on iTunes. Look up Merch Minds. Please leave a review if you can. That'll help us a lot. You can contact me at hybridstyle@gmail.com. Again, it's a long story on how I got that email address. Glenn, how can they contact you?
They can email me hustlerhacks1@gmail.com. You can watch my YouTube videos where I break down pretty much my merch numbers, you know, when the payout comes out for the month. You can also find me on Instagram if you want, at hustlerhacks.
Mm-hmm. And you do have a website as well, hustlerhacks.com. I'm currently working on mine. You know, that's going to take a while because again, I don't have too much time during my day because I'm busy doing other things. But
and not only that, you're busy cranking out these merch designs.
Yes, you did see my website though, even though it's not complete. Yeah, so I just showed Glenn my website, even though it's not near complete. But yes, again, guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, we'd love to interact with you, and please, any feedback, whether it was positive or negative, let us know, and don't forget to leave a review on iTunes. Anything else, Glenn?
That's it for this episode, Yong.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. We will see you next episode.